want things to change, but if you're not ready to change them, or it's been a spirit of poverty or a poverty mindset, or the spirit of procrastination and its ugly sister, delay and confusion and lack of clarity, then the only way you'll end up moving is when you absolutely have to. You'll only respond to need. You won't be proactive. You won't respond just because it is the right thing to do and it's in season, right? You never store. You always need emergency relief. There's never any extra provision. And some people will only respond when they find themselves in a position where they're almost close to abject poverty. And that could be financial, that can be mental, emotional, whatever. I remember there was a certain person that was trying to get into a rehab situation to where they wouldn't have to pay and all this other stuff. And I spoke with a counselor and all these other things, right? It was a family member, and I was like, look, we have to do something. And the person, I went to 3 different places, and it was free. They had all of the resources available. They would take them in, and the person refused to go. I spoke with the counselor of every single one of them, and they said, look, the only times people come to these programs, for the most part, is when they've hit rock bottom, meaning there's no other place to go. There's no other way out. They are inches from death, right? The second reason that they go in, if they're about to lose their freedom, meaning they're about to go to jail. So someone either has to hit rock bottom to even receive free resources, rock bottom, or their freedom has to be at stake. That's it. Rock bottom, their freedom. We have to divorce the mindset that everything we only change when it's an emergency. Because guess what? When you only change when there's an emergency, the only place that you go is from absolute distress to okay. You're never in a place of abundance. You never have an abundance of peace. You never have an abundance of provision, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of resources, nothing like that. You always just end up having just enough. Well, the issue when there's just enough is that when things happen, you're right back to rock bottom or inches away from rock bottom. So you never get ahead. Now, if you go through different seasons of life like that, you're used to operating in that space. How many of you guys know people that are absolutely used to living in lack? Y'all, I've had tenants that literally you have to send them an eviction notice every month. Meaning every month they go with the anxiety of I might be kicked out of this house. There are you without realizing, especially if you grew up like that, you may be used to living in lack all the time. Absolutely, positively all the time, and you'll have no idea. No idea. It's one of the strangest positions to ever be in. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk today about a few different things that you can do to get this together. The first thing is we're going to talk about a few mindsets. So one of the things that I've been noticing all this week during my calls, during sessions, everything like that there's a few mindsets that are getting in people's way. The first mindset is nothing's ever going to get better. Every time I try something, life just hits. I can't get a break. Now, there's been times and seasons where I've gone through that. And I know why I've gone through that. The first thing is God allowed me to go through that to build my stamina. But the other side to that is it's not that you can't take a break. It's just that you don't handle your life challenges in season. So if it feels like things are happening to you back to back to back to back, if you really look back, it's very likely that there were opportunities for you to get your life in order and to make different decisions that could have gotten that issue in order in season. So it could be a financial challenge, right? Well, you knew that there was a lack back then. So you could have made different decisions financially, maybe budgeting, maybe going out and making more money, maybe getting into some trades, some buy sell, maybe starting the business, maybe doing something freelancing here, maybe investing, maybe doing whatever, right? Whatever it is that you could have done. Toro, there's so many ways to make money now, right? That probably wasn't handled in season. And so now you're trying to step into a new season, and everything that wasn't handled in the season in which you were meant to handle it, now is happening like this. Okay, now you're trying, this happens all the time. I'm trying to start this business. I'm trying to get into, my, and I've had this happen to me. I'm trying to get my business together. I'm trying to operate, within my purpose. Right now you're having relationship issues. The relationship issues didn't just pop up. There were issues that happened past seasons that needed to be addressed. You never addressed them, and now they're coming back up out of season. But it should have been addressed then. So it's not that you can't get a break. It's just that you were most likely in the habit of procrastinating and waiting until you're at a point of need. Thank you so much. God bless you, the relationship coach. Probably waiting until you were in a place of need to handle it. And now that you're in another season, everything that you didn't handle in the past seasons that are allegedly supposed to be out of season are coming up in this season. So it's not that you can't get a break. There's just been a list of things that you never handled, and you never handled in a timely fashion, that are coming up at the same time. Y'all, when I say don't give the enemy a footstool, because sometimes he'll sit there and be like, oh, okay, cool. Open that door, right? And he just wants the door to be cracked. And he decides when he walks through it. Just because he didn't walk through the door, like, the one thing he has is time. And so y'all know I'm a coach and I'm a minister. So I'm gonna talk, I believe in handling my business with God, and then handling my business, right? And if you get yourself together with God, you get your spirit right, everything else becomes easier. You don't want to be battling financial battles, spiritual battles, relationship battles, all these other battles at the same time. But here's the thing that people don't realize, and I see it in businesses too, with a lot of entrepreneurs. It's a time you decide to level up in business, but you had all these doors open in your marriage. You had all these doors open with your kids, all these things that he never stepped through. But the moment you decide you're about to do something, he's like, oh, let me just walk through right here because the door is unlocked. Next thing you know, all hell is broken loose. So no, it's not that you can't get a break. You can get a break, but you have to be willing to handle the issues that you know are there in a timely fashion. If it's your finances, right? We live in an age and a time to where there's 1,000 million trillion financial tools. We are no longer living in Reconstruction era where, people didn't have access to this type of information. Every single person watching this has a phone. There's so many budgeting and financial tools. Just pick one. You can pick the cash method. You can go to your library and download Dave Ramsey's book. You can speak with a financial counselor. You can go on TikTok. The Budgetnista has things. You can go on YouTube. They have print offs. They have Google Sheets. Your bank probably has one for free. You just have to do it and take care of it, and understanding that it's a process. You can't get upset at the process because it didn't take you a day to get into a financial catastrophe. So why would you assume it's going to take a day to get you out of it? So y'all do me a favor, like and share the live for me. Like and share the live. We're going to keep going with these points. What's up, y'all on YouTube? I appreciate y'all. I think y'all on YouTube. Yeah, y'all on YouTube. I appreciate it. So those are some of the things that are going to hold us back. You just want me to be a part of that system. I can't do it. I don't want you to be a part of anything, friend. But you come here willingly, friend. I didn't send out any invites for this live. Right? You can decide, Jay, you can decide to do whatever you want to do. You can decide to do whatever you want to do. But the spirit inside of me, the Holy Spirit is saying that you need to be delivered from the spirit of paranoia. So, and there's something, God gave you a destiny, and there's something that's blocking you from seeing it. And it's whispering to you. I don't know. You and I have never spoken one-on-one, but whatever it is whispering to you. And this is how you know. Every time you're about to go do the thing that you know is your purpose, this thing pops up. So it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And then it's like, oh, but they're trying to get at you. They're trying to do this. If you don't like their system, create your own. You don't have to participate in other people's system. Create your own system, but you got to be willing to go through what comes with that. Sometimes, y'all, we got to pick a struggle. Everything's not going to be flowers and roses all the time. If you don't like their system, pick another one, but you got to be willing to do everything that goes along with that. Everything. You got to be willing to grow your own food. You got to be willing to do all of that stuff. And sometimes we look at that and we don't want to do that. So my thing is, if you're not willing to create your own system, don't complain about the system. Pick a struggle. My rule of thumb is I don't complain about anything I'm not willing to do something about. If I'm not willing to do something about it, I just need to be just like that. And it's really helped me. Okay, number 2. Here's another mindset that gets in the way for a lot of people. And it's this concept of I should be doing more. Do you know what that idea is? I need to be doing more. I need to be doing more. I should be doing more. I should be doing more. You have a realization that you're not where you want to be, but you're fearful and anxious about it. So you see, because here's the thing about vision, right? And this is the thing about faith, is we know that it's not, with us today. I taught this in Bible study last week. We know it's not right in our hands, but we can see it at a distance. And so because it's at a distance, we're like, just run, right? But guess what? Most of us can't sprint 500 miles. You're going to kill yourself. So it's not that you need to do more. What you need to do is to implement a strategy that's effective. And you need to lean into participating in activities that are effective based upon where it is that you want to go. That's why you have sprinters and you have long distance runners. It's very rarely can you put a sprinter in a distance and a distance runner in a sprint and they be able to take home a gold medal because the strategy is different. So whenever you get that feeling of, I need to do more, I need to do more, I need to do more. When I have clients that do this, what they end up doing is a bunch of nothing. A bunch of nothing. And then they end up ruining their relationships because they go home tired. They're stressed out. They're in a bad mood. Next thing you know, they develop this victim mentality. It's like, everyone's working against me. No, friend, you're working against yourself. You got to spend some time. No, you cannot join my live. You got to spend some time really analyzing and thinking about, hey, what are my next steps going to be? What makes sense for me during this season? What makes sense? And lean into an effective strategy. It does not mean do more. Doing more just means you're busy. Unless it's just for exercise, you don't want your strategy to be like running on a treadmill really fast, where you're sweaty, you're hot, but at the end of the day, you've gone nowhere. Now, the one thing that will do is it will improve your stamina. But most of you guys, when you're in business, you're going about your purpose, you're going about life, you're not just trying to improve your stamina. You want some fruit. I want to go somewhere. To me, that's the hardest part about being on a treadmill versus running outside is you're not going nowhere. You're not seeing anything different. I know if I run outside, I'm going to run much further. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but much further because I'm seeing something. I'm engaging. I can wave. I can do this. The surroundings change. There's some variety. So it could be the same thing in your journey. So don't think you just have to do more. Figure out what works based upon what it is I'm trying to achieve. What activities are going to bring me further to the goal? If you're just out there doing, what you're trying to do is achieve executive level progress with a blue collar mindset. It's not going to work. Just keep hacking wood. That's not what we're here to do. We got to progress. We got to push this idea along. We got to push this vision along. We gotta, whatever, maybe you're going to a job and, and you have a corporate position and maybe they have some deliverables that you want. Maybe you need to land a client so you can get this huge bonus, the next promotion or whatever. Don't just start doing stuff. Okay, what is going to be an effective strategy for this? How can I lean deeper into an effective strategy? How can we close more sales? Being busy doesn't mean that you're effective. That's the mindset that you have to be in. The third strategy or the third mindset that you have to kill within yourself is the strategy that I should be further along. I should be further along in life. Okay, cool. Now what? You're not. Now what? The more you spend your time thinking about where you should be, the less you're putting your focus and attention on the lessons, the strategies, the mindsets, and the experience that you need and the wisdom that you need to thrive in this season. This is why this is important and why you have to lean into the fact of what is it that I'm supposed to be learning? What information should I have gained? Y'all, please like and share the live. Let me share it with somebody. Y'all just tap the screen while you're listening. I know when y'all come, y'all really listen, and I appreciate that. But also, I would like for some other people to join us, so that way we're not gatekeeping. Because we need more people in this type of time. Everybody on these apps and everything, they're on all kind of time. This is going to be the information that is literally going to move your life forward. Okay, so you can focus on, man, I should already be there. I should be here or there. Most of the time we get that from comparison. We see somebody else's life, but we don't see their story. We don't see what they did for it. We didn't see how hard they had to work. We didn't see any of that stuff. We just say, why am I not living like that? And part of it is they do come online and brag about it. Y'all, my dog is snoring so loud. Pumpkin, wake up. All right. So that's the first thing. So, and this is why it's important to not have that mindset. If you have that mindset, and y'all, if you haven't followed me already, just go ahead and click follow, subscribe, all of that. If you have that mindset, then what ends up happening is you might mess around and find your way and yourself at the top of Mount Everest with the wrong coat. Not prepared. Y'all, what happens if you climb the top of Mount Everest and you got a coat that you got from Walmart? Look, Walmart in Atlanta, meaning it don't even have insulation. It's just enough to cover your arms up with. What would happen? Y'all type in the chat. What would happen? That you found yourself at the top of Mount Everest, Mount Zion, wherever, and you have a little Walmart coat on. What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen? You're going to die, friend. Hypothermia. You're going to die right at the top of that hill that you had zero preparation for. Experience matters. Your lung capacity may not even be prepared. And maybe it's your first climb and you can't even breathe. You have shortness of breath up there because your chest isn't used to the air thinning. That's what's wrong with us having this mindset of, I should be further along than this. No, you're exactly where you're supposed to be based on your level of experience, based on your mentality, your wisdom, meaning not just knowledge, but the knowledge that you apply to your life, the actions that you take. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you want to be somewhere else, then something within that formula has to change. You have to gain more experience. You got to make some different decisions, and you have to have a different perspective. And you also have to be consistent and accountable. So if you want to be in a different place, start in one of those places. Where do you need to gain more experience? What knowledge do you lack? How can you obtain that knowledge? This is what I love about living in 2024. Everything that we need is out there. The reason why we don't pursue it is we have a lack of clarity and assurance about what we want to do. But once you're clear about what you want to do, you're not worried about it. You're like, let's go do this. If you're unclear about what you want to do and you're like, look, I need an idea. I need to do something. Click the link in my bio and go to Cultivating Vision and Strategy. I'm going to pull it up here so they don't, what you call it, my live. And the reason I say that is because whenever I do things and it's not there, they like flag my thing. So this is not me just trying to show y'all everything, but I don't want them to flag my live. I'm learning the rules to these platforms. Download Cultivating Vision and Strategy. Wherever there's no vision, the people perish. You think you know what you want. You don't have a vision. You have outcomes. I want to have more money. That's not a vision. How are you going to get that money? How do you plan on living? It's not a vision. You just have outcomes. Most times people say, I have a vision. No, you know how you feel and you know how you don't want to feel anymore. You don't have a vision. How I know you don't have a vision is you should be able to articulate it to me in a way to where you could step out of the picture. I step into the picture and I start making moves. And I know which direction to take. And I know what to do and how to do it and where we're going. That's when you know you have a vision, is when you can take yourself out of the picture, put someone else in it, and they can walk. And then you can take them out, you go back in it, and they walk. Walk. That's how clear it has to be. That's how much you got to know what you want to do. So most of the time we don't have the information or the knowledge because we're still unclear about what we want to do. We treat our lives like we treat, someone says, what you want to eat today? I don't know. What you have a taste for? Well, y'all, that changes every day. Your vision can't be like, what you want to go eat with. What you have a taste for. Right? How long can we go back and forth about that? About what someone has or does not have a taste for. It makes no sense. Go to the link in my bio, download it. There's a digital workbook. You can download it. By the end of today, you will have a vision. It will take you maybe 45 minutes to an hour and a half to do it. If you do it today and you email it to me, I will give you feedback on this. I'm going to put the link in here on YouTube because I forget that y'all on YouTube too. I see y'all, but I'm so used to these other platforms. So I'm going to put that in there for you guys. Do it today. So if you feel like, hey, my life isn't where it's supposed to be, well, tell me, where's your life supposed to be? I should be further along. Where? Where is further along? If you can't answer that question, then stop shaming yourself about where you are today. You are the person that is navigating your life forward. You're the person who's doing it. So if you're upset, then you're the one driving this life. You don't know, and you're upset that you don't know where you're going, but you have no idea where you're supposed to be going. You haven't told your life, oh, go here, go there. Don't treat your life like trying to figure out where you want to go eat. Don't do it. So that's the second mindset that you have to divorce. I'm sorry, the third. Here's the fourth mindset, and then we're going to go into some actionables that you guys can take today. Fourth mindset that's holding you back that you have to divorce. My life will change when XYZ changes. My life will change when this person changes. My life will change when my husband gets better. My life will change when my wife gets better. When my kids do this, when this and this. If there is another person that you have connected to when your life will change, and friend, if you're waiting for someone to change to move your life ahead, you are going to fail. You have no control over that. You have taken yourself out of the driver's seat of your life and put someone else back in. The only person you should be putting in the driver's seat of your life is God. That's it. If you have a goal that requires for someone else to change to achieve it, that's not really your goal. You just want to have more fuel for your resentment. Thank you so much, Brian. You just want more fuel for your resentment. You just want to be more of a victim. Your life changes when you change. Y'all, let me tell you, this is the thing. Sometimes we're waiting on other people to change. Let me tell you, so many people around me began to change when I changed. So I spent time waiting for permission, waiting for other people to do better, not realizing me doing better was going to inspire other people to do better. Everyone's waiting for that one person to say it's okay to do better. It's okay to be better. Who's going to change the environment? Who's going to raise the lid? Who's going to do all of those things? You have to decide to be the person to do it. You have to have the vision and decide that you're going to do it. Life changed for me when I realized that no one was going to come and save me. Jesus already came. Meanwhile, he was giving me the directions and the downloads for my life. But in real life, no one's going to step in and change everything about your life. Change your focus and it will change your life. Absolutely. And the reason I say that is most people do not have a focus at all. They know what they don't want to feel and they know the stuff that they want, but they don't have a vision. They just want to feel better and they want to look better and they want other people to see them and give them a pat on the back. That's not a vision. So you have to divorce that completely and utterly divorce that mindset. Okay. So then the last but not least is I don't have the resources. Y'all, if I hear one more person get on any of my live sessions, development sessions, coaching sessions on here that says, I have a big dream, I just don't have the resources, y'all, what we're doing right now is free. This is free. This costs me nothing to do for an overpriced phone that I was already going to have anyway, right? There are so many things right now that require very little resources and a lot of innovation that we don't utilize. I want you guys to ask yourself right now, think about the thing that you want right now. And I want everyone to think about what are 5 things that you can do to get closer to that cost you nothing. Put it in the chat. What are 5 things that you could do today that would cost you nothing to move that idea forward? That would cost you nothing to make a sale? Y'all, there was like this moment of realization that I had. This was years ago. Years and years ago. I was complaining like, oh, this isn't happening. Oh, my business isn't growing. Oh, this, oh, that. I'm not meeting the right. Y'all, I had to complain about everything. I'm not meeting the right man. You know, Years later, I'm married now, all this other stuff. I'm not meeting the right man. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Right. And how many years ago? I mean, look, I went through this cycle for a few times, starting off in my early 20s, then my mid 20s, then my early 30s. Right. And really what I realized was, it's not that I couldn't do it. It's just that I didn't want to do it. And I was waiting for someone else to do it for me. I was waiting for someone to step in and give me all the answers. I was waiting for someone to come and wave a magic wand and say, here you go. I was waiting for someone to give me an opportunity. I was waiting for someone to give me all the information, right? Like I was waiting for someone to hand spoon feed me every single step. Y'all, that's not going to happen. And it would be boring. There are going to be things that you want to achieve that you're just going to have to walk out. And this is the season to where you cannot afford to delay. You can't afford to delay it. You got to have a vision. Y'all, I told you guys this in 2023 that 2024 was going to be the year of exposure. Has it not been? For those of y'all who've been here since 2023, has it not been the year of exposure? To where there were going to be people moved out of places of power, right? And that the things that they've been doing in the dark that everyone thought they'd get away with forever was going to come to the light. And I told you you're going to see it in the church. You're going to see it in entertainment. You're going to see it in government. You're going to see it in business, in every industry, that there's just going to be like some, oh. And I wasn't telling you that just so we can be messy. I was telling you that because there's space being created for good people with high character, with great ideas. What I'm finding is many of you guys are too afraid to take up space. So they're moving out of these industries. Where's your label? Where are your songs? Where's your marketing? Have you invested in yourself? Did you fire up your resume? Did you go on the interview? Did you even apply? Did you get the grant? Did you start the business? Did you buy any product? Did you put any level of investment into yourself? That's how I know that it's more of a mindset issue, right? And it's more of a self-image issue than an opportunity issue. It's there. It's there. Y'all, I had to check myself with this today. I went on and saw some government grants. I saw at least 4 or 5 that I can apply for. And I went like this. I just said, because I know I can get some of them, but I know that it's going to be a process. And I had to check myself immediately because I'm like, this is what you said you wanted. It's there. Y'all ever see something and the moment you see it, what's up, empowerment coach? What's up, friend? You see it, but as soon as you see it, that you know that there's going to be work involved. You got to be willing to go out there and do the work. So I want you to say and stop saying and divorce the mindset that the reason I'm not doing it because I don't have enough resources. Yes, you do. Y'all, Americans are some of the most resourceful people we've ever met. Some of you guys have grown up with the most resourceful people that you've ever met. My mom tells me stories that my uncles used to make go-karts out of lawnmowers. And they would go and get everyone's broken down lawnmowers and create little go-kart cars out of them and race them down the street with other kids. I said the only thing they should have done to take to the next level was charge some of them other kids to get on their go-kart. Some of you guys watch people create businesses out of literally nothing. Created businesses that sent their kids and their kids' kids to college. I mean, we've seen these things happen. And I think that there's something about our generation that has been watered down to where we're lacking the oomph to go out there and get it. But it's out there. You have to be willing to do the work. And here's the thing. Remember, the purpose of business is to profit. I want all of you guys to profit, to bring in more resources into your household. The same way I told y'all in 2023 that 2024 was going to be the year of exposure. I'm telling you guys, in 2025, we are going to see the economy go down. There are going to be layoffs. You're going to need the money. It's not questionable whether or not you're going to need it. You will need it. God is going to take care of you, but God is also telling you right now through me to start building the boat. If you decide not to build the boat and the rain comes, can you be mad at anyone? No, you received the warning. Don't expect the government to take care of you. They don't have any more money. We are at the debt ceiling. The clock is ticking on the amount of debt and the amount of money that the United States government owes to everyone. Why do you think these tax plans have gone up like crazy? Because they've got to make back all the money that we've allowed them to spend unnecessarily. When we're done with this live, y'all take a moment and pull up Kamala Harris's tax plan. Everyone's taxes are going up. It's not just the 3%. Yours are too. Why? Because the United States pays $786 billion in debt servicing every month. What is debt servicing, Yanni? I'm glad you asked. Debt servicing is like when you go and pay, Capital One, your minimum payment. That's debt servicing. When you got to go in and start paying the people that you owe. They are trillions of dollars in debt to other countries. They are not going to be able to bail you out. Build your own boat so you don't have to be a slave to anyone. And believe me, the government does not have any money to give you. All they are doing is loaning you your own money. They're not a corporation. The only thing they have to do is try to make sure that you go to work so that they can tax you. That's the only business that they're in is taxing, right? So you got to make sure that you're in the mindset to go out and do it, y'all. Prepare yourselves. So that's the fourth thing that I want you guys to do. So here are going to be your directions, right? Here, this is going to be, well, tell the truth then. Tell me what business the government's in other than war and taxing and getting in your business. Yeah, they do, but they also have a lot of debt. For instance, you can have $100,000 in your bank account, but if you got $3 million in debt, it's only a matter of time. Now, they do have money that they give away, but what I'm saying is we cannot put our hope in the fact that if everything goes wrong, that the government's going to take care of us. We've seen this before. We've seen this story before. There comes a time to where they got to figure something out with our participation, but they don't have it on their own. Okay, so here's the next side to it. This is how you prepare. The first thing is I want you guys to make a list of everything in your life right now, oh, my husband would go nuts. Absolutely not. We have a coffee right now, friend. So, but if you want a consultation, you can email me. So here's the thing. This is the first thing I want you guys to get in order, right? Is I want you to make a list of all of your immediate needs right now. All of your immediate needs. That thing that you're anxious about, the thing that you'll be stressed about, comment one thing that's a part of your immediate needs right now. What is it? This is also in this workbook. Why? Why is this important? I have found over time that someone can have a huge dream, but if you don't address your immediate needs, well, usually the easiest way to find a wife is to become a husband. So if you haven't found a wife, wives are not hard to find when you've become a husband. Talk to God. He'll show you exactly what you need to do. So one of the main things that I see is that many people, they can have the best ideas in the world that they don't capitalize on because their immediate needs are fogging them, right? That's in here too. They're fogging them. So they have this vision that's huge. It can be great, but they can't stay focused long enough because their immediate needs are doing this. Well, don't forget about that bill. Your kids are acting up. They need to go do this. Don't forget about that health scare. You ain't worked out yet, right? And we all have different lists. I'm not saying that this is going to go away, right? But psychologically, what ends up happening when you don't address your immediate needs is that these stress indicators start going out. Anxiety is not necessarily a state of being. Anxiety is usually something in our subconscious that's telling us something is off. We need you to address something. And if you continue to not address it, that alarm starts getting louder and louder and louder. And then next thing you know, you're dealing with crippling anxiety, meaning you can't do anything else. You can't focus on anything else. Now you got to drink all the time. You got to smoke all the time. You got to do this, you got to do that, because there's something that's happening in your psyche that you've refused to address. And I'm telling you, if you go and try to do something new without having addressed that, you may be able to start, but you'll never finish because that thing is popping up. Sometimes I feel like it's like God's life alert. Hey, I need you to address that trauma. Go to counseling. Oh, you can start a new job, but we're going to talk about this grief. Y'all, it's never failed. Anytime I've tried to just move past something without addressing it, the thing will always pop up and will crumble whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So make a list. I want everyone to comment right now. What is one thing that you know you need to address? You don't have to put a long sentence. You don't have to put all your business out there. You can write one word. What is one thing that you know you need to address that's an immediate need of yours? Here's some questions for you that'll help. Think about it like this. What's the state of your finances? Are there immediate needs when it comes to your finances? What is your desired outcome? How are your relationships? How are your relationships with your spouse, your relatives, your kids? Are there some immediate needs there? Are there some conversations that need to be had? Let me tell you this. Anything that you don't address with people or that you don't at least put on the table, what they will do is demonstrate what we call protest behavior. And what protest behavior is are ways of people showing that whatever need that they have, whatever problem that they have, whatever resentment that they have, that you refuse to address, they're going to start doing things to force you to address it. So if you won't give it positive attention, they'll make sure that you have to give it negative attention. They'll start acting up. What's the status of your business? Is your business operating in the red? Do you need to give your business some extra attention, or are you just acting like nothing's going on? Are there holes in your strategy? Why does it seem like we can't make any money? Just keep working. Remember that? We're just not doing enough. You could be doing enough, but if there's a hole somewhere, no matter how much you pour in, if there was a hole at the bottom of this coffee cup, I don't care how much coffee I put in, it's all going to run out. What are the things in your business or in your occupation that need attention? Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're working with a corporation. Do you need to meet with your manager? Is there a conversation you've been holding off with your partners or your boss, your colleagues? Is there some sort of system that's out of order that no one wants to tend to, that's holding you back? Have you scheduled the meeting? What's the status of your health? You can have the biggest dream in the world, but if that health goes to the side, friend, you better call on God and you better do whatever it is that you need to get it in order. Did you guys know that 72% of disease in the United States is based on lifestyle? It's just based on lifestyle, the decisions that we make, how we decide to eat, how we decide to live, whether or not we move, whatever. And what ends up happening is the lifestyle doesn't trigger the disease immediately. It's we sustain a lifestyle. We act like we're bulletproof. And then what we'll say, well, my grandma smoked until she was 120. Well, you're going to have a heart attack at 52. You're not your grandma. Your grandma was also a farmer. She went out and picked potatoes and corn and, walked to fields every day. You're not doing that. You smoking in front of the TV. Most of the time, it's not an apples and apples comparison. Grandma might have just had a promise from God on her life, and she prayed every day. And he's like, I'm just gonna let her keep a little lungs. You may not have that. So, what's the status of your health? Are there things that you need to get in order? Do you need to start a workout routine? Y'all wouldn't believe the number of entrepreneurs, and to me, if it's even just one, it's too many, right? People that I've met, amazing entrepreneurs, amazing people, heart attacks, blood pressure, diabetes, all these other things, overweight, whatever. You gotta get it in order. Why? Because that will get in the way. There are times where I've set up strategic plans for people that they can't execute, not because they're not capable, because they don't have the energy to do it. By the time they get started, they're tired because they don't have the physical stamina to be able to execute on the plan. It has nothing to do with their potential. It has nothing to do with their ideas. It has nothing to do with marketing. It has nothing to do with sales. It has nothing to do with whatever. They just don't have the energy to execute their idea. So think about your spiritual life. It's hard to do business when you have crazy. When you got all kind of things going on spiritually, you're confused, you're not at peace, right? That's why I love the Lord. The Lord gives me a peace that surpasses all understanding. It's easy to operate when you're in a state of peace. You gotta have your mind right. Your mind, will, and your emotions. That's your soul. If your emotions are always off, your mind is always off, you're demotivated, it's very likely that you have some immediate needs that you need to attend to that are part of your spiritual life. If that's the case, send me a DM. We have Bible study tonight, hopefully. We'll see how this storm does. We'll see if I have internet, y'all. So if y'all don't see me come on here at 7 p.m., I promise you I'm not taking a day off from ministry because I already told the Lord, look, we're going to do what we got to do in ministry first. Right, seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and we're gonna do the rest later. So if you don't see me on tonight, just know that this hurricane coming has knocked out my power. But apart from that, y'all gonna see me on. Send me a DM. Y'all, I've met plenty of people on these apps that have inboxed me saying, hey, look, you know what? I'm going through severe spiritual warfare. And when I'm telling you, we get to praying to let the Lord break the yoke off that thing, and now their lives are flourishing. That's an immediate need. If anything in those 5 areas aren't being taken care of, you can have the best idea in the world. You can want to change and everything that'll always hold you back. It doesn't have to be fixed. Your mind and anxiety release, knowing that there's a plan in place and you're addressing it. And then you'll just go through the problem or the process of addressing it. But that's something that just has to happen. So the first thing I want you guys to do this right now today is address your immediate needs. If you need some help walking through this, I pinned it in my bio, but you can also go to the profile and download the digital copy of this. Because if you do it digitally, you can start it today while you're at work on your phone, write it on a piece of paper, put it in the notes app or whatever, and get your life plan together. This is the part of life that I noticed that many people don't do with their kids. They just say, look, go to school, finish school, do this, get a job, whatever. But they don't say, look, you need to have a strategy for your life. You need to have a vision for your life, meaning as you're driving your car, you're driving all these vehicles, the vehicle of education, the vehicle of jobs, and the vehicle of entrepreneurship, the vehicle of all of these different things. Where is this vehicle pointing towards? I can't just get in a car and say, I'm going to LA. I've got to have some directions. Or I can't just get in my car and just say, I hope I land somewhere great. You could do that. Or you can say, look, I have a goal of going here, there, and there. Let me make some decisions to go there. Are you going to Los Angeles by way of Canada and then wondering why it's taking so long? These are the things that people don't teach, but these are the things that successful people do. They have 5-year plans, 10-year plans, 20-year plans, and they have an idea of what they want to achieve. The biggest problem that I see with this, and this is why this is sometimes a challenge for people, is because we don't want to answer tough questions. Y'all, do you know that's just spiritual warfare? The enemy doesn't want you to have clarity about your purpose, but you were born with a God-given purpose. So when people ask you, what do you want to do with your life? I don't know. I mean, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. Well, what you need to do is evaluate your gifts. Based upon the things that you are naturally gifted in and you're experienced in, which direction should you go? Based upon your natural inclinations, which way should you go? Because there's a lot of different ways to make money, but which way should you pursue? Which way is going to be in alignment with who you are and how you want to live your life? That's how you narrow down a lot of different options. So it's not that you don't know what you want to do. You just haven't taken the time to clarify it in a way that makes sense. Do that. So once you address the immediate needs in your life, right? The second thing you have to do is have a vision. I just gave you guys a tool on how to develop a vision. You can go to the link in my bio and download it, right? Or you can, if you want a physical copy, I'll mail you a physical copy and you can use that pen. Either way, you're going to have it. Once you know what you want to do, you know what's out of order, right? You have to determine what you can take immediate action on. I'm not talking about the things you can't do, because sometimes people come to me and say, well, I can't do this. I want to do this, but I don't have the money, whatever. But what can you do? Based on the resources that you have right now, what can you do? Most of the time, everyone can name something. I want everyone who's listening right now, put in the chat, type it right now. What is one thing that you know you could do that's within your abilities right now that you haven't done? Oh, look, they're trying to do this. I got to make sure I have this in the picture. What is one thing that you know you should do that you haven't done right now? What's one thing? Y'all, as soon as I put this down, they just sent me a live violation and now I'm in trouble. Hold on, I'm going to restart this real quick. What's up, my friend on YouTube? Type something in the comments so I can see who you are and where you're from and what you're doing and why are you listening in? Are you enjoying this? I hope you are, but I hope you do more than enjoy it. I hope you apply it to your life. Thank y'all for coming back. I had to make sure I didn't get a bio. They got mad at me because I didn't have this. I wasn't holding this up. How do they know I'm not holding it? That's how you know this technology is that strong. That they knew that I wasn't holding it up, and they're like, boom, y'all, I gotta be careful. I can't be in online jail for everything, right? And I'm like, how do I get violations? I see some stuff that other people do, and I'm like, hold on, how y'all don't have a violation? Okay, so we're gonna get into the last and final points. The last and final points. Last but not least, once you know, and I'm sorry, y'all, I had to get off because they got mad at me because I wasn't holding this up, so I just took it off. So I'm not trying to get back into platform jail. So I wanted to start it over. And the moment, literally, I had it up for so long. Y'all saw I had it just like this for a long time, and I just put it down. And then by the time I pulled it back up, they had already given me a violation. Anyway, so the next thing I want you to do is take action on it. I want everyone to type into the chat, what is one thing that you know you need to do that you have not done yet? Put in the chat right now. Y'all, we are no longer in a season where it's okay for us to procrastinate. We can't procrastinate anymore, y'all. The season for procrastination is absolutely donezo. No more procrastination. What is the one thing you know you need to do? The next thing I want you to do is decide to take action on it. Put it in your calendar. When are you going to start? When are you going to start? Tell me about it. There is only one truth. When I'm telling you, y'all, like the number one thing I've been praying about, because now I'm like, Lord, look, I know what I want to talk about. What you want me to talk about? It's been, look, I've been giving my people directions. They're not doing anything with it. It's like, here, go do this. You may have put something in there. There's only one truth. You may have put something in there that the platform didn't like. So write it in a different way. So it's been, look, I've been giving people the specific directions, the directions that are going to make sure that they're provided for, the directions that are going to make sure that they're not going to be in lack, the directions that are going to make sure that their needs are taken care of, right? But they're not doing anything with it. They're distracted. They're focused on everything else but their directions. They're taking directions from everyone else. Oh, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. Okay, great. Right? But there's provision and there's a path that God has really set out for your life. So if he's setting this path for you and saying, look, this is the path where you're going to see favor, meaning you're not going to have to scrape like crazy. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean you won't have any sort of struggle. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be, some sort of fight that has to happen, right? But guess what? I'm going to show up with you. I need you to take the steps. And what do? You're like, well, Oprah said go over here. So-and-so said go over here. Yeah, but they can't grant you favor. The only thing they can give you is advice. Thank you for following. My favorite newscaster said this. Tucker Carlson said this. So-and-so. And everybody has that idol that they listen to. Okay, I'm not telling you to go here, there, whatever. Right? My thing is, you cannot put anyone's advice and directions above God. So some of y'all may be saying, well, how do I know? How do I know that those are directions? Sometimes it sounds like your own voice. It's just a still small voice that says, man, you know what? Maybe we should do this. You know what? Maybe you should go ahead and start that pressure washing business. Maybe you should start that painting business. Maybe you should get into investing. Maybe you should go into business with your kids. Maybe you should start that school. Maybe you should start that nonprofit. Man, I probably should go out online and write that grant. There are very few times. Right. And y'all, will y'all like the live real quick? I know I restarted it. But I told y'all why I restarted it. Will y'all like the live as you're listening? And the reason that this is important is you have to be willing to listen to that small voice, the knowingness, and especially when the voice constantly comes, right? And you get that constant reminder, right? You have to be, you have to be willing to listen to it because that is God giving you the directions for your life. He's giving you the directions for your business. If he's saying, look, you need to be open on this day, you need to be open. Hey, you need to go over here. You need to have this conversation over there. You need to prepare for this. What if this happens? And it's not, and how do you know it's a direction? It's a stirring up. You can't get a feeling of urgency. Like right now, I have an urgency to help prepare people's businesses. Y'all, I started 30 to Eden. If you were on here all throughout the month of August, I started working with business owners on just laying the foundations of their businesses. Y'all saw me come on here and talk about it. Y'all, the people who are part of this program, they set stretch goals. Like, man, I would love it if I were to hit boom, 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 boom. We set the stretch goal for by the end of October. Y'all, they're already pacing that. And we're not even done. So now I'm like, well, we need to do a follow-up, right? It makes me feel good because now they have the money coming in. They've got the new employees. They're getting their best sales days, their best weeks in business, their everything, right? And it's like, okay, Lord, I'm glad that you had me have a sense of urgency because I know that they're way more prepared and their foundation is that much stronger because I followed the direction and had urgency. And look, y'all, when the Lord talked to me about it, and when I had things going on, I didn't have all year to prepare for this. It was like, look, whoever's going to take part, y'all come take part and sign up. And I was like, look, whoever's getting it, y'all gonna got it. Now I'm like, okay, Lord, what else is next for them? We only have one more week left. And they're already boom, 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 boom. Right? But now I'm like, okay, I know that there needs to be more people that join this. Maybe you didn't do the first round, but you need to do the second round. If you know that's you, follow me and subscribe to my emails. You're going to see when I release the dates for the next 30 to Eden. You're going to more than make your investment back. And the good thing is what this boot camp did was it just laid the foundation and got the ball rolling even faster to where now they can just continue to roll this ball for the rest of 2025. If nothing else happens and they just continue to do this, they're still going to grow. Not to say that they're not going to have struggles, not going to say there's not going to be challenges, not that there's going to be obstacles, but that ball is now rolling so big. Those are the directions for my life. But it wasn't God screaming to me, you got to get some businesses in here. You got to do this. It wasn't that. It was an inclination. Hey, I need you to prepare people in the marketplace. I need you to prepare entrepreneurs. I need you to get them to seek my face. What are my directions? I need you to get them to keep going. Hey, they've been crying out to me, oh, my business isn't doing this. I need you to go out and give them the foundations that's going to help their businesses to thrive. It's not a scream. God is not a screamer. And my thing is, if he ever has to scream something to you and shut off every door and make you struggle and go through strife and all that stuff, that's not God being overbearing. That's you being stubborn. I don't want to be at the point to where I'm so stubborn. I'm so distracted. I'm so moved by the world. I'm so rebellious that literally I have to be put in a situation where I have to struggle and go through strife over and over and over again for me to cry out to the Lord and for me to say, okay, God, I'm listening. It shouldn't have to be that bad. If it's to the point to where you have to be put in a dire situation before you turn to face God, right, there is a big problem. He should just be able to whisper to you his designs for your life and for you to go and act on it. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, cool. I need to do this. I need to go live today. Okay, cool. Let's go live. I need to do this. I need to get this part of my business going. Okay, let's do it. And when you're like that, right? I realize now I'm like, Lord, I got to really make sure I'm carving out my time for you, because when he gives you directions, it's going to work so well that you have to ask yourself, Lord, I'm going to need your help with me maintaining all of this. Because it's like things start going like this. That's how you know you're hearing from God, is when you really get going and he's gotten your character together and he's gotten your directions together, things will start moving to where even while everyone else is like, business is slow, the economy, you're like, run, come work for me. I need help. We need help, right? That's the place that you want to be in, where you have to run to keep up with him. But you can't be distracted. Everyone else is distracted. They're so involved in everyone else's business that your business isn't taken care of. You can't be so involved with what's going on with Diddy. Okay, good. That's his life. What about the things you're missing in your life? He's a fallen mogul, but you're actually supposed to. You have the anointing of a mogul. But you're so worried about what's going on with him. What about what's going on with you? What about your business? What's going on in your life that you haven't addressed? Because his child ain't gonna pay your bills. His child's not gonna make a legacy for your family. What's going on in the news is not gonna allow you to create abundance, generational wealth. It's not gonna allow you to plant seeds that your kids are gonna eat off of. That your grandkids and great grandkids are going to eat off of. It's not going to allow you to do anything like that, right? You're going to have to be able to focus on what's yours. I'm a consultant. So, and you can't, and y'all, I'm telling you, you cannot rely on the government. Get your business together. So we just came up with a few points. I want you to type yes in the chat if you've already decided on the things that you need to take action on. If you already know what those things are that you've been delaying and procrastinating on, right? I want you to click or type yes in the chat. How do I know you all have it? It's because every person I sit down with, when I say, okay, what are your goals? Boom, 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 right? And I say, have you done this? Well, I need to do this. I just haven't started yet. Y'all, my thing is this. If you're going to pay me, make me work for my money. Don't pay me just to babysit you on the things that you knew you were supposed to do in the first place. Make me have to go do some research. Make me have to go get in the trenches with you. Don't just make me your business babysitter. Bobby said yes, right? Do it. This isn't a season to procrastinate. Get the ball rolling. Train your teams. Train your new staff. Start selling that new product. Change your hours. Get the coaching. Get the development. Get your staff ready. Do what you need to do. Don't leave anything. You need to build a strong foundation for 2025. That doesn't mean that a storm won't come, but you will be able to sustain the storm. We saw this happen in 2020. I told all my clients in 2019, going into 2020 and in 2020, we have to make sure it's not that this storm isn't going to be here. We know it's here. We've got to build a foundation and build a business and change our strategies and get innovative and get creative. So that way, no matter what happens, we are able to sustain the storm. Are you there yet? So that's not being delusional and blind and putting your blinders on and acting like the writing isn't on the wall. That is, hey, I see it's coming. Let me build my boat real quick. Let me build my ark. Wave at everybody who decided to not get on, because that's what I'm going to do to some of y'all at the end of 2025. Same way I told you in 2023 what 2024 was going to be about, and now I'm waving at some of y'all to where you didn't get ready to step in. People are getting fired. People are leaving industries. Goliaths are being taken out or whatever, right? But you're not prepared to step in. You didn't do your training. You didn't get your business together. You don't have your portfolio ready. You don't have any of this stuff ready. You're just sitting there watching it and judging. No, the point is not to judge. The point is to take advantage of this transfer of wealth that's happening. But you're not prepared. So some of y'all will be waving at in 2025. I'm so sorry, friend. I'm going to be compassionate about it. So do the things. Your gifts will make room for you. So once you know for sure you have the things that you want to do, right? Ask yourself, what's the first step? What's the first step that I can take action on today? What's one thing that you can do today? Doesn't have to be perfect. The rule of thumb in business is if you launched a perfect product, you took way too long to launch. I launched imperfect products and I let my results perfect it. But meanwhile, as I launch my imperfect product, I'm still making money and making the adjustments. Why? The people who do business with you and your first customers, they don't assume that your business is going to be perfect. They know it's not going to be perfect, but what they're doing is a values comparison. Like when people work with me about stuff that's new, they're like, I know she's going to be charging more for this later. So let me just take advantage right now while it's a cheap rate before it's the full price. Because I know it's still going to be valued. I don't need edition 10. Y'all, the first iPhone wasn't $2,000. Some people got the iPhone 1, and it lasted them for years. And they got it at a good price because they jumped on it. If you have to launch a perfect product, you took too long to launch. And what if you perfect a product that you think is perfect, but your customers are like, I don't like it that much. You don't have any feedback. Now you've put years worth of time into making sure something's absolutely perfect, that now it's out of season, or your people are like, yeah, but I didn't need all that. Why did you even take the time to invest the money? So ask yourself what you can do today. Now, this is what's going to happen when you ask yourself what you can do today. You're either going to ask yourself what you can do today, or you're going to come up with excuses as to why you can't do it today. Meaning there's something that you know you could do. And if you know, hey, I could do this, and then you come up with 10 reasons why, now we know that we don't have an opportunity issue. We don't have a sales issue. We don't have a systems issue. Now we have a mentality-based issue. And that the reason you're not getting ahead is you. And y'all, I hate being this person. I love to have like way more pleasant conversations, right? But this is just the truth. And somebody's got to be the whistleblower. I need you to blow the whistle on yourself. If you know that there's something that you want to do, and you're thinking, okay, I know this can help, right? I'm not requiring certainty, meaning I won't start unless it's a guarantee that everything will go my way and there will be no problems. Okay, you're delusional if that's the case. That's like people who get married that assume you're never going to get be in an argument. I don't care how much you love them. Y'all are going to argue. Don't be delusional. It doesn't mean that the rewards aren't going to be greater, right, than the struggle. So if you know there's something you can do, and you know there's something you can do today, if you immediately start saying, okay, what do I need to do today? And you get to work on it, good. You're in a good place. If you just thought of what you can do today, and you immediately gave yourself 10 reasons of why you shouldn't do it, you have a mentality-based issue. No amount of money, no amount of strategy, no amount of mentorship, no amount of everything is going to be able to help you until you fix that. And usually that's what reveals to us what the real problem is, right? You know, I was speaking with a mentee of mine, and this person they're called to the creative sphere and to film and television and things like that. And they have the ability to start something and a great idea. And every time I'm like, oh, okay, well, what date are you going to do it? Oh, I'm not ready yet. Oh, so really what we're saying is you have a low self-image. You have low self-confidence. You don't believe in yourself. So the issue is not that the opportunity isn't there, right? You're afraid to stand out on your own. So now we have a different issue because no one can fix that issue. Now, if no one ever sits there and tells you that, then what you'll do is you'll spend 20 and 30 and 40 years blaming the man, blaming the system, blaming the economy, blaming everything else, except for the fact that you don't have enough confidence. You won't show yourself. Maybe someone 10 years ago told you you were ugly. Maybe someone when you were a kid told you were ugly, and now you're afraid to show your face. Until you get over that, you're never going to reach your goal. Everything about you, God created everything about you to support your purpose in life. To support it. I know the reason why I have this big old forehead. Because when you see me on the screen, you're like, hold on, what? Hold it. You're going to see my face. You're going to see my face. This is why I talk loud. Why? Because I was meant for people to be able to hear me in the front of the room and all the way in the back of the room. Y'all should see when I try to pumpkin. Stop that. It's my dog. Did y'all hear all that? These spoiled dogs are rude, and she old too, so she really doesn't care. She really doesn't care. I can tell her no all the time, and she doesn't care. So everything about you supports your purpose. So if you're sitting there hating yourself, what you're also doing, and if you're constantly criticizing yourself, you're constantly judging yourself, you're constantly hating yourself, really what you're doing is also hating your purpose. And you're hating God because he created you that way. If you can't accept yourself, you also cannot accept your divine purpose, that thing that you were created to do, you were built to do, the thing you're supposed to do. If you hate yourself, you also got to hate that. Because everything about you, the way you're formulated, is for that. Did any of y'all watch, what was that show? There's an actress, right? And she has a really unique look. Oh, what's her name? And she had a show called Chewing Gum. And she had another show that was really good too. Michaela Coel. I don't know if I'm saying her name right? Beautiful girl, right? Completely different look. When she comes across that TV, you know it's her. Everything about her, you're like, hold on, who is this? She doesn't blend in. She doesn't have any of that stuff. So when you see her, she gets your attention. Imagine if she didn't embrace that face and that look. She has these huge eyes, everything about her facial structure picks up very well on camera. Everything. She's like this beautiful alien. Everything about how she was created supports her purpose. She was meant to be on TV. She was meant to be in front of people. She's going to blend in. She has the type of look that she can't be an extra. She'll take too much attention. She can't be an extra. She has to be a leading character. Right? Has to be. So you have to be willing to embrace everything about yourself. So you know that there's things that you can do. You know what your first step, like I could take this first step today and you won't do it. Then what does that reveal about the current mindset that you're in? Do you lack self-confidence? If that's the case, you need to address it. You can't go through life without self-confidence. Set up a meeting with a counselor. Set up a meeting with a coach. Now, here's the thing, right? A coach, someone like me, is going to help you. Janet, tell it like it is. Hair is not black. Immigrants. Proud African woman. Right. And don't you know her, Michaela Cole? Well, I know you're from the UK. Honey, if God didn't create her to be front and center, she cannot be a stand-in. The moment I see her in the back, I'm be like, who is that? I'll miss the whole conversation on screen. Because I'm like, who is that? Everything about her. Okay? So if you know that's the case, do it. Now, here's the difference between a counselor and a coach. A coach gets you to your future. A counselor helps you reconcile your past. If you know the reason you have low self-confidence is because there's some things in your past that you never addressed, go speak with a counselor. Do it today. Because, and some of y'all, you can get some of this done in one session. You may, in your mind, picture that you need 5,001 years of counseling. You may only need 1 or 2 sessions. You're like, oh, well, that's it. Okay, I got it. I'm not going to say that's the case for everyone. But why spend 5, 10, 15 years of your life wasted, not in your purpose, because you wouldn't spend 2 weekends dealing with something from your past or the reason why you have low self-confidence? If you have a million other things to do, right? A million other things to do. But you know, this thing's in your purpose and you're like, well, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. You know, you have an issue, priorities and scheduling. Why have you not prioritized your purpose? Why are you overscheduled in areas that add no value to your life? So if you got the action item and you know, hey, here's something I can implement today, you're either going to get started on it or you're going to come up with every reason. Those reasons that you come up with to not get started today are things that need to be addressed immediately because they're not going anywhere. You're not going to wake up one morning and that thing's not going to be an issue. It's going to be something that you're going to have to really put forth some attention and progress in. You're going to have to put some attention on it. Mentality-based issues do not go away. Soulish issues do not go away. So what are soulish issues? Things with your mind, your will, and your emotions. If you have anger issues, they're not going to just go away on their own. They're not going to just go away on their own. If you have an issue with motivation, you know what you got to do, but you can never get the motivation to get it. You're not going to just wake up one day motivated. You're going to have to proactively address the issue. If that's something that you know you deal with, it's not the why, it's the what has you overscheduled. Exactly. You went to church this week in California. It was great. That's so good. No one gives you motivation. Absolutely not. Right? That's a soulish issue. And many times I find that people have soul wounds that they need to address. If you want to address it, guess what? God ain't going to just fix it for you. He does not do things that are outside of our will. He's not going to fix your car that you wanted to stay broke down. Right? You have to address it. You've got to do something with it. You're not going to wake up and it's going to be different. Y'all, this is one thing that really gets to me. Sometimes I'll have clients that reach out to me 2 years ago. They're like, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. 2 years later, we talk. They're ready. Guess what it is? Same issue. Sometimes it's 5 years later. Sometimes it's 10 years later. Same issue. And I'm like, if we would have taken care of this when we first spoke, you'd be in a completely different place. Because they thought that they can handle it completely on their own. If you could have handled it on your own, it would have been handled by now. You can only give yourself what you already have. Every time I have a problem in my life that I'm like, oh, this is an issue, I got to go and seek knowledge. I'm either meeting with my mentor, I'm getting in my prayer room with the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, what's going on? Sometimes the Holy Spirit will tell me, and sometimes the Holy Spirit will say, call so-and-so. I got to read a book about it. Y'all, do y'all know a few weeks ago, I pulled out my old Dave Ramsey? There's an old 20-year-old Dave Ramsey. Let me get back in here. Let's talk about not spending money, not being in debt, just getting back to the foundations, right? That built my financial life. Because, you can get away from something. You think you got it down and get right back into your old habits. I had to go right back to it. 10, 15 years later. And I did have it down for a long time. And slowly but surely, right? Because this is the issue with the world. You're in the world and you're watching the world and everything over time. I had gotten back in the habit of mass consumerism. I had to go back. You got to be willing to address the issues. They're not going to fix themselves. So whenever you thought of the thing that you can do, whatever you have not done yet, and all the excuses that you come up with of why you can't do it today, that's how you know you have an issue within your mind, your will, and your emotions. If you don't believe me, ask God. And be like, God, do I have an issue in your mind and will and emotions? If you get a check like, friend, you better do something with it. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Y'all, we live life from the inside out. Spirit, I'm out the hiding place now. I feel renewed. I have led it to pray now. I don't know what that learned. Oh, you've learned to play now. Okay, good. Yay! So we live life from the inside out, not from the outside in. The world is going to lie to you and say that you're living your life from the outside in. Meaning, when you have the perfect job, when you have enough money, when you go to enough places, when you dress the perfect way, you do all this other stuff, then eventually you'll be happy and your spirit will be calmed. And then the extra money will make it to where you're not anxious anymore. The relationship's going to fix your depression. That's what they say, right? If I could just find a wife, find a husband, find a boyfriend, girlfriend. If I had more friends, I'd be happy again. That's not the way it works. They've lied to us. If it were just that, there should be no one in the United States on anxiety medication, on suicide watch, using drugs and alcohol, on depression medication. There should be none of those things in the United States. Why? Because we have everything. The general lifestyle of most Americans or most people in the West, for the most part, they have everything. So if that were true, then the pharmaceutical business would be out of business. If PlayStation 5 were enough, we wouldn't need all this extra stuff. But we're the most medicated, the most anxious, the most depressed, the most everything. And you can go to other countries where people have nothing and they are happy. So that shows us that that's not true. If you are telling yourself going to get more stuff is going to make you happy and fulfilled, you are delusional. The evidence is there. You're just covering your eyes to it. So how do we actually live? Spirit, soul, body. If you want to make a change in your life, you start from the inside and you work your way out. Connect back with the Spirit of God so you can have peace that surpasses all understanding. From that place of peace, start working on those soul wounds. Get some counseling, get some coaching, get some discipleship, get in your Bible. Some need to go through deliverance. Do what you need to do to heal that space. So that way, when you interact with the world, you won't hang yourself. If there's anything that we've learned from the news, right, is that you need to get delivered. You need to heal before you reach your Mount Everest, before you get to your promised land. Otherwise, you are going to fall from a very tall mountain and you're going to be up here and it's going to be boom. If I pushed you off of a very, very high cliff, you will die from the impact. If you stumble off of a hill, your feelings will be hurt. But you stumbled off of a hill. You might twist your ankle. If I push you off a very high cliff, you will die from the impact of falling from that high. That's why you have to heal before you get up there. That's why you have to work on your character. You have to work on your self-image. You have to work on your security. You got to know how to keep your eyes focused on Jesus. Why? Other people are going to be looking for your attention, pulling you here. Oh, you're insecure. Oh, if you do this, you'll be more secure. If you're able to get in the end with these people, you'll be more secure, right? Because other people are going to give you the stamp of approval. Those are also going to be the people that are going to kick you in the back. You'll not be pulled this way in that direction all the time. So go through that healing. Sometimes your life is being held back as a place of protection because God doesn't want you to hang yourself in the next place that you go. Wants you to handle the anger issues, wants you to handle the pride, wants you to handle the whoremongering, wants you to handle the lust, the perversion, everything else that goes along with that. Wants you to heal the trauma, right? I had someone on here earlier. I said, look, friend, you keep coming on here, but I think the issue is not the system. I think you need to be delivered from, what is it when people are always like afraid of something, not anxious, paranoia. You got to be delivered from paranoia. Fear has gripped you. And the paranoia is what's holding you back. You can't get started in something because the moment you hit it, you see everything that can go wrong. You're afraid. And paranoia has put your life in a little box. It has nothing to do with the system. Right. God did not create the spirit of fear. So, these are the things that most people have to address. Once you address those things, then normally we can get started on just next steps. Because when you approach those things, the other steps are easy because you don't have all these tethers holding you back. Right. When you get your mind right, your soul, your emotions right, you handle your immediate needs. You're addressing those things. You're not acting like they're not there, stuffing it underneath the bed, right? Then what happens is, even if I stretch you, you're being stretched forward. I can't stretch you if you got all these things pulling you back. Then we can work, but you'll only get right here. Because this thing is just, and it's like having y'all ever go in the gym where they put that big band on someone and they make them run and they're holding them back. so that you can get the tension and get stronger and stronger with just that type of weight without actually having to carry weights. That's what it's like whenever you don't address those issues. So you got to address those issues so you can go forward. Exactly. So focus on these things, y'all. But ultimately, every single one of us has directions for our lives in this season. Do what you need to do to take care of that. If you don't have a vision, click the link in my bio, download this workbook. By the time you're done, you're going to have one. Then you'll no longer have the excuse of, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. Now you know what to do. So then you're either going to go do it, or it's going to reveal, okay, there's some other things I need to address. Don't think that you're going to wake up magically and be in your promised land one day. That's not how God works. We are people that focus on outcomes. God is very concerned with the process. He is way more concerned with what happens in the wilderness versus how long it takes to get to the promised land. He got 40 years. Right? Yes, you got to use it. You have to use it. Oh, honey, I use my own workbook all the time. This is just my blank one. My blank one that I use for demonstration purposes. But I use it at least every year. Because things change. Visions change. Especially as you knock some other things off your list. What's next? You can have a vision that's for this season. But once you transition, God is like, okay, well, now you've done that. Let's go on to your next vision. And you can always see when people have not done that because they hold on to old titles. And it's like, you already got promoted out of this. You just never formed another vision. So now you're just holding on to something that's old and just until it dies out. You all hold on to a vision from an old season. God ain't in that anymore. He's at your next. He's not waiting in your past. He's waiting in the future and right now. So, you gotta do that kind of stuff, y'all. You have to do it. We are no longer in a season where we can procrastinate. So y'all, speaking of procrastination, I gotta go because I have some things I need to do. And I'm allegedly having an eye exam today that we'll see if this weather's gonna let me do. So bye, y'all. God willing, we'll have Bible study tonight at 7:00. The most important appointment that I have each day. And so there's a storm that is happening in Atlanta. So the only reason I wouldn't be on that Bible study is if the storm knocks out lights and all that other stuff. So if y'all don't see me tonight at 7, that's why. Love y'all. Bye. Download the workbook. If you haven't followed me yet, follow me. Click the link in my bio. Download the workbook. That is my directions for this season, is to prepare you guys to step into your next so you can be ready to build your boat. So I did my part. Y'all do yours. And then we'll progress to the next steps. Bye.